Hey guys, and welcome to the Band Rants channel, your home for NFL predictions, analysis, and of course, your periodic rant. And in this video, we're going to be discussing the predictions for the NFC West division schedules in 2020 as to the outcomes. Now, I did the AFC West before, and the video was a bit long, so for the remainder of these schedule predictions, I'm going to be cutting the video into two teams each. So you're going to see half of the NFC West in this video, and the other half will be in the next one. So stay tuned. We're going to show you real quick about what the NFC West looked like at the end of last season, and we're going to go ahead and get into it for this season. Enjoy. Alright, so for the first part of the video, we're going to start with the not only division champions, but NFC champions, San Francisco 49ers. So if we look at the schedule, they open at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Now this game has all the means of an upset game because of course the Cardinals offense got a lot better, but I really would find it strange if the 49ers lost their home opener, of course, with such a dominant playoff performance last year, keeping a majority of the same roster this year, not really losing any big players they didn't already replace. I'm going to give the 49ers the win at home. Now they have two road games, of course, at the Jets and at the Giants. These are also two games that I think the 49ers will take very easily. I think the Jets and Giants are both teams that are not only playing out of the same stadium, but also going to be rebuilding a lot this offseason and next. Now at home against the Eagles, this game is going to be a little interesting because this is a game where Carson Wentz is going to be trying out his, well, I guess you could say new look offense in terms of Jalen Reagor and Deshaun Jackson hopefully staying healthy and being able to make a difference in this offense. But I think this defense is going to have a lot to go after with this offensive line, especially with Brandon Brooks being injured. But I'm going to go ahead and give the Eagles the upset win. And the reason for that is because I think that the offense might be a bit of a surprise to the 49ers in terms of what the Eagles bring to the table. Now at home against the Dolphins and Rams. At home against the Dolphins, I think is a game the 49ers will take pretty easily. I also want to point out that that Eagles game could easily be flipped by San Francisco, but I think that that might be their toughest offensive showing, and I'm not kidding, to date, including even over Arizona. Home against the Rams, I think this will be a little bit easier for the 49ers in terms of a win. The Rams could pull off an upset, but I'm not buying it in San Francisco. Now, at New England, this one would be a lot more interesting if Tom Brady was still in Gillette Stadium, mainly because it would be Jimmy Garoppolo against Tom Brady, the guy that he was supposed to replace, but obviously that's not the case. Now, Bill Belichick's defense is also coming off the bye and at home. So I'm actually going to give the Patriots the win here. Now that's also a game that the 49ers could flip. At Seattle is a game where the 49ers actually lost last year. And I think that that's also going to be the case this year. Now at home against the Packers is a game that the 49ers won not once but twice last year. And usually on a short week, it's tough to win these games, but they're already going to be on the West Coast. So I think this is actually going to be a lot easier than people are giving them credit for. So I think the 49ers will be fine there. The Packers could flip that game. I mean, obviously, maybe the third time in 2 years is the charm, but who knows. At New Orleans, now the 49ers actually have more time to prepare for this game. They have a 10-day week to travel cross-country, and I think this actually could be a home game that might be Drew Brees' toughest with the exception of the Chiefs this year. And I think it's a game the 49ers are going to be able to flip into a win. This is also one of those games that's maybe 1 or 2% sure. Same thing with this Patriots game here. At the Rams, I think the 49ers are in very good position for a season sweep over the Los Angeles Rams in terms of roster against roster. I think the Rams are going to be probably not as good as people are giving them credit for. I think they have lost a lot of players and are almost in a mini rebuild in terms of that, but we'll get to them later. Now at home against the Bills is a game the 49ers will also take. This game will be a tough one because the Bills offense is going to be ready to go, and this is also a game that the Bills could probably flip. Now at home against the Redskins is really a no-brainer. This has all the means of an upset game, but I've already given the 49ers a couple of losses that might not be upsets, but could easily be flipped. Now at Dallas, this one's a little bit too close to call. Jerry World is a pretty difficult stadium to play in, but I also think that this is going to be basically, and who are we kidding here? It's going to be Dallas's offense versus San Francisco's defense. I think the 49ers offense could maybe pack a little bit of a surprise punch, but I'm thinking that at the end of the day, this is going to be a game that Dallas wins. Now at Arizona, this is going to be the upset loss that I was telling you about earlier. Now, this could go one of two ways. The 49ers could always win this game, flip this one, and lose their home opener, but I think this is a more likely outcome. And they could finish off the season with a win at home against Seattle. Now, here's where I'm at with these last couple of games here. Arizona and Seattle are probably the most improved. Arizona improved a lot. Seattle's always playing San Francisco tough. They have ever since Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh were both the head coaches. This is a game that is always fun to watch, whether it's in Seattle, whether it's in San Francisco. We see it twice a year. It's always fun. In Arizona, I'm not hopping on the DeAndre Hopkins bandwagon, but I do think that Arizona is going to improve a lot, especially with Kyler Murray's second year and the offseason that Arizona's had. I look forward to seeing what they do. But I see the 49ers dipping a little bit from their 13-3 to 11-5, but that more likely will still give them a playoff berth. And now we're going to go ahead and do the other California team, the Los Angeles Rams, that I currently have sitting at 0-2. But if we look at their schedule, it's pretty balanced. I think there's a couple of games that the Rams could maybe flip, but we're going to start with the home game against Dallas. Now, this is another game that is a Sunday Night Football game, which I'm really not sure why. In Week 1, you have a lot more games that really could be in the slot, but obviously didn't make the cut. This is a game that I actually do think the Rams are going to lose. I think that their defense against strong offenses are going to be in trouble. They lost their defensive coordinator, Wade Phillips. They also lost a lot of players on defense. They did gain Jalen Ramsey and Roquan Smith in the offseason, but I think that the Rams are going to have a few things to improve on. I don't think Aaron Donald is going to be able to really hold that line by himself, especially for the first time in his career without Wade Phillips. That's going to be a challenge. At Philadelphia, this is a game that really could go one of two ways. I don't see the Rams starting off, with a really bad luck of streak, but this is also a game that the Rams, I think, are going to have a chance to flip. And this could be the Rams' upset win, because I don't think the Rams are going to be over 500 this year, so I'm going to give them an upset win in Philadelphia. But they will take a loss in Week 3 at the Bills. It's going to be fun to see Jalen Ramsey going up against Stephon Diggs. I think that's a really cool treat that we're going to see. But I also I like the Bills' offense and defense, everything really, with the exception of Aaron Donald, of course. I think the Bills just overall have a better team than the Rams, and they're at home. In Week 4, of course, the Rams will bounce back, and they will take a win against the Giants. This is actually a really tough game to call, and not for a good reason. But I think that the Rams are going to be in a little bit of a better position than the Giants will be. At Washington is going to actually be an upset loss for the Rams. Now, here's why. The Redskins' defensive line has improved a lot more than the Rams. Now, I won't be able to say that anyone on the Redskins line is Aaron Donald-esque, but if you look what they've done the last couple of years, and they're getting a new head coach in Ron Rivera that can really help elevate this defense to new heights, this is going to be a game where the Redskins make a statement. They're going to be a team that finishes in the bottom of the barrel, but they're not just going to lay down every single week. Now, I've already covered in San Francisco, that's going to be a loss. Now, at home against the Bears, this one's on a Monday night. This was going to be pretty cool. I think this is a game that the Rams can flip. It's a primetime game. I think the Rams have every chance in the world to kind of, defeat a 2-game losing streak. At the Dolphins is a bit too close to call, and again, I don't know who the Dolphins quarterback will even be by this point. But I think this is a game that the Rams could flip, so I'm going to give them the win in Miami. I do think the Dolphins need to start winning eventually, but this is also a game I think the Dolphins could flip. Now, of course, in The home game against Seattle, this is a game that the Rams usually always win. So I'm going to give them a win here and flip that game to the Dolphins. Leave them at 4-6. Now the reason I'm flipping this to the Dolphins is because I think the Dolphins probably will take another upset win over the Rams here, just because I think that the Rams are going to really underestimate these guys here. But I'm going to give them a win at home against Seattle because they usually do take these games. Divisional games are really, really tough to call sometimes, and I think this is a game the Seahawks usually are hit or miss in, and I think the Rams can take it this year, especially coming off the bye. In Tampa Bay, this is a Monday night game, and although the Rams do get an extra day to prepare for this game, and especially for a cross-country trip, I can't realistically give the Rams a win over what Tampa Bay has on offense. I just can't do it. I think on both sides of the ball, the Buccaneers are a better team. Now, at Arizona, this is a game that I believe the Rams will not win. I think that Arizona is going to come prepared for this game, and I think they're going to come prepared in a big way. Now, at home for 2 games now, they stay on the West Coast, which is definitely going to do a lot for them in terms of not having to travel very far. They do have the Patriots coming in, and that's going to be a tough test for Jared Goff, but I also think that the Rams' offense, believe it or not, has better wide receivers than the New England Patriots do. So this is a game that the Rams could flip, and this could be the upset win that the Rams do need to sort of keep them from completely falling apart. Now at home against the Jets will be another win. I think the Rams are going to really enjoy this little wave and really ride high. At Seattle is going to be a loss, because Seattle, it's a very tough place to play, and I think that by this point, where the Rams will be 6-8, I think the Seahawks are going to be in a much better position. And then at home against the Cardinals, this one could go either way. I'm going to give the Rams the victory here and have them finish at 7-9. If you like what you saw, guys, please like, comment, subscribe to the video, and I will see you in part 2.